Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Transport Fever, and you're back in Twin Rivers for a little bit more Metropolis style Transport Fever. That's a bit of a ramp there. I hadn't really anticipated that. We're following the new brick delivery. No, this is the stone delivery train. We're following it. That's what we're doing. It's not going to work at the moment because the Detroit bulk freight service is using incompatible freight cars. So I have sent that back to the depot to have a Swifty upgrade, but I don't have the money to pay for that just yet. So I'm just waiting until that happens. This is rather jolly, isn't it? Get used to this. It's going to do quite a lot of this. This little 25 mile an hour chuffer train with its not very many wagons going on. I don't know how long this is going to survive, has to be said, because it isn't terribly quick. The good news is we got diesels just around the corner, which will be a little bit quicker, but I don't want to upgrade to diesels just yet. Right, the bulk train should be arriving anytime soon, but I thought we'd just follow this along to the station before we crack on with something productive. So kick around. Here we go. Bit of station. Lovely job. And what a dinky little station it is. In fact, given that I've only got 5 cars on here, it's only just long enough. Grand. The dinky little station, absolutely ideal for this job. Grand. Well, okay. Well, that's that. But currently, that's just a jaunty little experience in wasting money. Usually, I quite like large experiences in wasting money. Which we shall get to in due course. Right, we're almost at the end of the month now. Where are we? The 26th. So I'm going to wait until the very last day in the month, and then we'll pause up and we'll upgrade this chap here. We'll get as many wagons on there as possible that are universal in nature. And I appreciate that that's a little bit of a cheeky method of accomplishing anything. But I think it's in keeping with something. I'm doing it. Just get over the idea. It's going to work out. Largely, I want to see if it works out or not. Right. That's about it for March, which has 31 days. That's not about it for March. We've got one more day left. That's about it for March. There we go. Right. We can now flog the aging wagons we've got on there, which takes us up to a fairly beefy 7.58 million, and I've got another 6.5 million that I can spend there as well. So this is, well, that's reasonably promising. Let's don't sell it. No, you want the buy it button. You don't often do it like this, do you? So you want to buy trains, you fool. There you go. Momentarily foxed myself. Now then, wagons. The Naffies Universal 1890 State Car. We're just going to buy as many of these as we can get our hands on. Actually, we probably only need about 140's worth of supply. 132. Let's start with that, and then you're doing Detroit bulk freight. So get to work, young man. There we go. And there's no need to do too much pomp and ceremony with this chap coming out of the depot because we've seen him in action before. Just different wagons on there. But I'll give you a minute just to soak it in. There you go. Do you feel like you've soaked it in? Yeah, I think so too. Now then, I've had several comments from people who are saddened by the number of aging steam trains that I've got going on. I mean, this one's not the springiest of chickens. It's not that old. But if we head over to the passenger side of things, you'll see that we do have some aging workhorses on the line. I appear to have drifted into rather a lovely bit of Colonel Cam here. And you know I'm a sucker for such things, and I appreciate that quite a lot of you are as well. So I'm just going to follow this along till it doesn't work anymore. And then I'll zoom in and we'll actually go and have a look and see how old it is. Hang on. God, it would be nice to see it through the sides of the buildings. We just got ahead of it. There we go. There you go, that was quite something. Almost a delivery there. So yeah, we've got this rust bucket going on here. There we go. Really is pretty ancient at this point. In fact, let's have a look and see exactly how old it is. There's my vehicle list. Age, please. 29 years. It's really not that old, is it? The Sioux Falls commuter. There we go, 29 years, and all of them are losing me money every year simply due to the age of the train. If we fish one up here and have a look at its finances, you'll see that it's gone from profitable to unprofitable despite making more money year on year, purely due to the age of the train. Possibly ought to get into a bit of replacement action there. But the challenge I've got is if I opt to replace those chaps, then I'm going to miss out on the money that could be spent on further expansion, and that's the balancing act that I'm having to play with. I can either go like, I'll be back in a year and a bit when I've replaced a few trains and nothing else will have changed. Doesn't make for compelling entertainment. So we're going to try and stick with it and just see how we go as we go. I am going to replace the El Paso station shuttle though, because that's how we roll. What have we got available here? Electric omnibus. It's Russian. We can't use it in America. We have to use the Mac. There we go. Let's put that in there. Switch auto replacement on. That should get replacing anytime soon because they are all now out. In fact, there's one now. And that will do as our opening gambit for today's show. There we go. So one Mac bus suitably deployed. Don't know why these people are walking. Don't know where they're walking to. They've clearly got some notion in mind. That chap's he's walking quite stiffly. Clearly a bodybuilder of some description. Anyway, I have no idea what we're going to get up to today, but it's going to be dramatic. Stick around and we'll see it happen. Now, we're still watching the Mac at this point because I've mentioned it in a previous series, I'm certain, but it can't be a very comfortable ride when the wheels don't exactly move in a circular motion. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. This is clearly part bus, part clown car, and fellow me lad driver can't quite reach the wheel. So it's anybody's guess as to the safety record of these things. But the passengers seem to like. Look at that, we've got a nice bit of train going on there. I say a bit of train. We've got a really, really, really long train going there. Oh, and we're going underneath. I'm sorry, we're going to stick around for a moment just to appreciate this. Okay, have we all appreciated that? Shall I get on and try and find something to amuse us all? Let's do that. There we go. So that's a bus being a bus, doing bus things in a bus-like way. Now then, I've still got a few routes to connect up. So coming out of El Paso, whatever I named it, East, good name. Coming out of El Paso East, we've got this track of indeterminate destination, and based on the way it's pointing right now, I suspect my intention is to take it to Indianapolis. Now then, that is going to prove to be a challenge, because the obvious manoeuvre here is to take it around, so delete back a little bit, and wrap around here and try and merge on for the bridge. Except for this bit of track here is phenomenally busy, as you can plainly see. Good, I love it when the game decides to support my theorem that it is very busy. Where are you coming from? This is the balloon route. Look, it's making money this year for the first time ever. Of course, it's about to pay its maintenance, at which point it will cease to make money, but it is running with a mostly full load. I think we'll follow it to its destination and see what sort of money we're talking about here. Given that I've got no cash beyond my loan at the moment, I'll wait for a bit more wedge to come in before we do a bit of development. I'm optimistic, of course, that money's going to pick up quite dramatically once those stone and construction route operations kind of kick into high gear. Come on, this is the lousiest kernel cam you've done in a while. Look, it's not a clean shot. There you go. How are we doing there? Nope, he's still outpacing us. You modern flipping steam trains and your high speeds. There you go. This is a bit more like it. 2 trains in shot at once. That's always a good sign. I feel confident we'll get 3. Although that window of opportunity is closing fast. Ease it back some. It's a good shot nonetheless. If you say so. That's a Great Western. I know that whistle anywhere. Here we go. And there we go. Rattling along at a reasonable speed. So hopefully this one's going to make a bit of cash. As soon as the game decides to, you know, unfreeze there. Thank you. What do we got? I keep this open because it'll tell me the exact number. 132. Now, it's not an amazingly high number, but it would be a first for the balloon route to actually be profitable. Let's see if it looks plausible based on the number of passengers. 50 of 70 is not amazing, but it's not bad either. The Sioux Falls commuter has got some bandwidth in there. The European balloon on the other leg has got passengers waiting. Sioux Falls mainline, that's good. Sioux Falls Brussels is good. It's not bad. The Barcelona transatlantic needs another train. I think we established that last time round, and I think that's what we'll probably work on fixing. So there we go. Today's theme, 10 minutes in, and I've decided what I'm doing. Today's theme is going to be reducing the frequency on the trains that have too long a frequency at present. Why this freight delivery is not making me money is somewhat beyond me, given the load that we've got on there. It's because they're old. Okay. Well, I would pay. I'm going to pay for it. Yeah. Let's get these replacing. So you're using steam trucks at the moment. Let's stop doing that. Actually, you haven't got much choice in the matter. Combination of steam trucks and Canstadts. 19 years old. I don't believe that they're all 19 years old. That doesn't sound right to me. Let's have a quick. Yeah, pull up all the menus. That's really what's going to make all the difference there. And flip around. 19 years. The real station shuttle is losing me cash. These peasants and their wastage of money. Although that pales into insignificance when you consider that this train alone is losing me 1.6 per year. Million, that is. Let's go and have a look at it and see exactly why it is being dramatic. That's not exactly the button that I wanted. 28 miles per hour. Seriously? Come on, mate, put your foot down. What's your problem? Why are you so slowly? Come on, choo-choo. Let's go. Move like you've got a purpose. You know, and this is not an ancient engine either. This isn't very old. It's 1 year old, in fact. Apparently it's got a top speed of 90, but at the current rate of progress, I'm not really feeling that. Maybe I picked up on it just after it had hit the road, as it were. Maybe these wagons are too hefty for it. I'm going to need you to go a little bit faster than 42. You've got a top speed of 90, allegedly. Now, prove it. Let's make this happen. Yeah, I've had some poking around as well, just while we're watching this chap doing his thing. I had some poking around, and I do now have the Ultimate Station mod added into this save game. I've yet to try it out, so it could end up in quite an exciting turn of events. But my plan is to deploy it as soon as we start adding diesels. It just feels a little bit too modern to be adding in to the current era of trains. I don't think steam trains and your modern PVC style roofing solutions, I don't think they're necessarily compatible. Anyway, here we go. We're going to go past. Where are you? You're Krakow Transcontinental. Terrific. And you're fully loaded. Right, so on a reasonably long run now, we got up to 53 on this allegedly 90 mile per hour capable train. That's... I'm not wowed by that, if I'm completely honest. Right, let's have a look and see what we've got here. And I wonder whether it can't possibly be the coaches. Could be that the coaches are too heavy, and there isn't a single passenger waiting because the turnaround time is poor. Right. I wonder, given that this is going to Barcelona, we could put something European on here. I know, heresy, I'm aware of that. But we've got to get a bit more speed going here, chaps. We can't cope going so slowly on what should be a nice little earner of a route, given that it's actually quite straightforward, heading out to Barcelona. I mean, you know, it's a good, long, stretch your legs kind of a route. I mean, you've got some complexity of signalling going along near the Krakow Triangle, but there's no reason at all why this shouldn't be tearing along at a fair old lick. So, yeah, I mean, I've basically got to put another train on there and see how we get on. So let's work on that. Every time I zoom out now, I am partially scanning for construction materials and or stone. Right, okay, so Barcelona is where we're thinking of, and it's platform 7, so we should be fine from here. Let's have a look. So 90 miles per hour, and I think that was the Atlantic we were using there. Tractive effort at 94, so that's your acceleration, and then 94 is actually pretty poor. Intriguing. Now I have got the American wagons, the American cars mod coaches. I can't remember exactly what it's called. If I was lucky, I'd have written it down, which I haven't. I even looked. You possibly heard me looking, but we don't have it. Hold on, the Varnish 12-1 Pullman. That's got potential. They are £1 million a throw, but it'll do 90 miles per hour. Now, we're currently rolling with the Clerestory, which has got a top speed of 80. The weight is 40,000, and that's possibly what's hurting the 40,000 kilogram weight. Oh, those are 60,000. I don't think that's Atlantic. I think it's Atlantic is too gutless to make this happen. Apologies, Atlantic fans. I didn't mean to sound so derisory there. But you have to admit, you know, it really isn't getting the job done. If it was topping out after the run from Barcelona to Indianapolis, it was topping out at like 50-something. It really isn't getting the job done now, is it? So this is clearly better bang for buck. You get four extra passengers, and it's only 10 miles per hour. It's 40 miles per hour slower, but I've got a locomotive that will actually haul it at that kind of speed. Let's have a look. The Atlantic, it's just a little bit feeble. I mean, maybe if I were to reduce the number of coaches that I was trying to pull. That said, the heavy 8-wheeler is a better bet. I mean, it's 80 miles per hour. Actually, it's only got the same tractive effort, and it's quite a lot more expensive. Okay, I'll shut up then. The heavy mogul. Yeah, but it's got more power. Tractive effort is that the uphill speed? Yeah, it is. It tends to affect uphill. Raw power is what gives you some acceleration. We've got the L&M consolidation. No, we're going too far back in time here. So you have to be a believer in the Atlantic. Maybe I'm just running too many coaches on there. So if I were to drop by one, which I appreciate makes for quite a short train, which nobody wants to see, maybe that would come up with results. What have you got? You've got nothing on board. I tell you what's going to happen in your future, Mush, is you're about to head back to the depot, and we're going to play Let's Buy Some Train, and we'll get you a buddy and see if that pans out. Because this is too good a route not to make any money off. So as soon as you've passed the junction here, we'll spin you around and send you back to the depot. Soon as you pass the junction, just any time now, that should be sufficient. Send to depot, turn around. There you go. Right, and because we don't want to be here all day, given the blistering acceleration of the glorious Atlantic, You're an embarrassment, son. You're an embarrassment. Yeah. No, I'm not joking. Right, and you've decided to go for that one. Okay, pretty wise, given that's the only one you could go for. There we go. Right, so, did have a capacity of 90, so if we move one of these down here, 72. Let's keep it simple. 54, for now, should allow you to actually get up to some kind of speed. Get yourself going. Right, now, we also need another one of those there clerestories on this one. Come on, where have you gone? There you are. Have one of these, and then we'll stick another Atlanto on there. Bosh. That's pretty good. That's actually, it's not a clerestory, it's a Pullman. Oh, beg your pardon. My goodness, what a mistake to make. There's going to be people howling in the comments going, my goodness, do you not know the difference between the two? To which I will have to say, well, in fact, is that what I've done? Or is this... Oh, it's because I've installed the mod. That's what it is. So it possibly was going a little quicker, but the mod has actually changed up these coaches which has added effectively 50% speed on top of what it was doing before. So I should sell those. Hold on, man. Turn around. Go back to the depot. Now, there is a chance you'll block some traffic. Try not to. Just putting that out there. Because we should run clerestories on here. We don't need Pullmans at this stage. So, what's that? 2 of those, that's 32. That's 48. We can go with 4. Does that feel good? That's 64 in total. Yes, that will be fine. We'll set you to go to Barcelona. And hopefully, this chap can make it back to the depot despite the fact he's going against the flow of traffic. Let's have a look at what level of catastrophe we're talking here. No, it's going to be fine. See, evidently I timed that to perfection or something similar. Right, you can now go to Barcelona. Okay, we're going to use cheaper wagons, and everything will just work out fine. That's my scheme. I am largely now. There we go. That's the fella. Right, you sell that, sell this, sell that, and then have 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which was an unconventional move, given that I've just bought those in the wrong depot. Right, close that. We don't need it. Buy trains. There you go. I know you all tune in for my ruthless efficiency. I hope I'm not disappointing. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. Good. And we've got 2 million left in the bank. Let's put a train on something else that needs it as well. You're good to go. And as much as I would sooner have you waiting until this one had got a little bit further up the line. In fact, we'll do 10-15 seconds of this at full blast. We'll just sit here and pretend we're not at full blast, because full blast makes for poor videos. But sometimes you just need things to move along a little bit more rapidly than they would otherwise do. So the newfangled Barcelona Transatlantic is going to hit 60 in no time flat. I know the locomotive is capable of more, but this is the most appropriate coach that we can be running on there. We've got 3 passengers on board. That's a start. Now do better. And then you can get going, and then we're rolling. We'll watch this one come out of the depot because we want to. Right, good. That's the first bit of reorganisation. Ruthlessly efficient, as ever. I'm also going to change the colour scheme here. What's a colour scheme for something that's been losing me money? I don't know. Let's try yellow and see. No, that is possibly the worst look you could ever have. My goodness me. I mean, you might get away with that on some kind of newfangled electric number. But when your coaches are made out of wood, painting the roof a bright yellow is just not the done thing. And then the locomotive, I mean, whoever's driving this has got to be feeling self-conscious. I mean, just look at it. Thomas the Tank Engine had more subtle colours than that. Right, okay, that is not the one we're going for. What about this mucky version? Mucky version does not appear to have accomplished anything there. You're saying green. Yeah, what about that? Now, I quite like the pale yellow, but again, it's not really suited to this era. So let's... this is the point at which that commenting folk are going to say it's entirely suited to this era. Here are some pictures in black and white of trains that were exactly that colour. I like it, but the coaches don't match, so it's not good enough. Purple. I mean, I like a purple train, but again, no, you know what? I'm going to stick with that. Either that, no, I'm going to get... I don't want to spend the entire day umming and ahhing. You're going to go brown. There we are. That way we won't know when you are too old to be of any practical use. Let's move on to another line. Right, okay, so frequency. Here we go. The slowest one we got now is Euro Spinwood, which is 19 minutes. We've got 3 trains at 19 minutes. But the good news is Wolverhampton Shanghai is just about breaking even. Well, just about making a profit, in fact. The Widdershins is almost breaking even. Actually, these two aren't doing wholly terrible, but sticking another 2 trains on there will make all the difference in the world. So, I don't know. What am I going to do? What am I doing with myself? What am I thinking? What's the game here? What's the caper? What's the notion? At the moment, I don't really have a scheme up my sleeve. Let's put... Right, what are we running on here? The Spinwood is running... This looks Austrian. It is Austrian. Okay, right. Let's get another one of these rolling. That's a lot of fun. Okay, 47 capacity. I'm clearly running a brake van or some such, just to keep things semi-authentic. Let's get another one of those in situ and see if we can't up the tempo. It's got plenty of people on board already, so maybe by running 2 of them we'll increase that volume. I mean, the train's got a heck of a long way to go, but that doesn't bother me too much. Right, by trains, let's have a look and see. No, trains is what you want. Locos. Now, we're not running the OB. That's a Russian. What we want is, where is the latest sporty? Is there any difference in sportiness? Well, the 106 here appears to be slightly more sporty than the ST B6, which, you know, I know it has its fans, but we'll go with the 106. I'll have one of those, thank you. Yep, stick it in my bag. I'll take one. And then we shall slap onto that passengers. It would appear that we have some choices. Now, this was capable of 56. So these do 68. These do 62. So these will be entirely sufficient for our purposes. Right, we'll have a first class. We'll have a second class. We'll have a goods wagon. What does that take us up to? We need to find another 17 from somewhere. There's 14. Okay, what do we got there now? 43. How many coaches am I running on this? 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Well, I've gone with an alternate configuration, clearly. Now, I'm not sure that's the wisest manoeuvre for me at this particular juncture in my career. You've got 14 capacity, you've got 18 capacity. This first one's only got 10. Let's flog that and let's have another one of the 18s. By 51. That's more like it. Euroloop, Spinwood, please. There we go. Right, we'll go watch this one out of the depot. There we go. Of course, I closed the thing with the actual train in it, but there we go. And it's a busy all day here at Sioux Falls, as things are coming and going. The Mac bus there, with a whole third of the capacity in use. There we go. Now, I know that there are some Puritans amongst you who will just go like, well, you've got that coach in the wrong place, that should be at the back. I appreciate that it should be at the back, or that it shouldn't be in this consist in the slightest. Looks like it should be, though, doesn't it? probably should be at the back, though. No matter. This is a fine-looking model. The reason I always add the Austrian trains in there is because I'm going to say his name's Fransel, but I'm possibly wrong. It's something like that. Anyway, he does a very, very nice job on his Austrian locos, and I'm going to go out on a limb and suggest that he might be Austrian himself. Otherwise, just randomly selecting Austrian locos is maybe an unconventional choice. Good. Right. Well, we can tick that one off. So now we've got two routes left at 19-minute turnaround, and they're both just about profitable. The Wolverhampton-Shanghai is actually not really carrying enough passengers, if I'm honest. Should probably have another one on there. Let's go talk to it and see how it feels about the world. All of this, of course, is just buying time until we go and see if stone is being delivered now. So we're running a Great Western from Wolverhampton, which is where we are now. Yeah, I know, I recognise it and everything. Splendid. Now then, we've still got nobody waiting. All right, so that's positive, is that you've managed to clean out everyone. So that's 28. But it's the speed is the problem. It's the turnaround time of the route. What have we got waiting here? This is good. Barcelona's a busy old place. The European balloon's got 112 waiting to go to Dortmund. That's good. Odds and ends waiting to go elsewhere. But I'm hopeful that the Barcelona transatlantic will actually start delivering in terms of a bit of demand fairly soon. Meanwhile, down here, the Orient Express. How many of those have I got? 3 of them. How's it doing for money? Terrible. Oh. Why so terrible? There's tons of passengers waiting. Although maybe it's getting closer. Although for the last 2 years the income has been pretty flat. Maybe I am just running something that is costing me too much. Let's have a look at this chap here. There we go. What do we got? So this train is profitable, so which means it's probably the front of the queue. There we go. Again, it's pulling these Pullmans, and that's what's going to be causing me trouble, is that the new Pullmans are too expensive. They have got a higher capacity. It's installing the mod has changed my running costs, and that's caused me issues. I'm pointing dramatically at the screen. This is where I should have a cam turned on, because I'm kind of, I'm pointing at the screen in a largely kind of, unimpressed kind of fashion. Okay, well, I think I can probably turn that around. Right, that's enough time now. Let's go and see if we've got any stone happening. Yes, we have. Look. It's happening there. There is stone, and it's going somewhere. I'm not wholly certain. There it is. This little Great Western chap who really doesn't belong here because we're in the Americas, but we're just going to stay behind enemy lines, as it were, despite the fact that the UK and the US are largely allies. One brief period there, but we don't really talk about that anymore. And this is now going to turn these into construction materials. Now, this is really close. So the hope is, in fact, we've already got some construction materials waiting. Look, that's jolly. So the hope is that the speed of turnaround that we get coming back this way, because the Detroit freight train here does 120 some odd in terms of capacity, 130 some odd in terms of capacity, and by bringing that back with a bit of luck, I've got the balance about right. I don't think it's perfect yet. I think this turns around a little too quick. But once we get stone production up to a good level, there should be enough being delivered to keep that train in business for a little while. The main question is going to be simply, is it going to make enough money to cover its costs? I don't necessarily need it to be profitable, which is fortunate given its performance so far this year. But covering its costs would be nice. We've spent best part of 500,000 on it this year so far, and this is probably its biggest payday yet. So we made 91k so far. This takes it up to 124. Okay. Alright, well, you know, that's a detail that we're just going to have to live with. When it's shipping in both directions, we've got a chance that this makes a bit more cash. Until then, however, it's slightly more of a problem. What do we got? We've got 34 in stock. Yeah, okay, that's not quite up to ramming speed yet, but it'll get there. Right, where are the bricks waiting to go? Some going back to Detroit, some to El Paso. I wonder if I've upgraded the Sioux Falls train to use the NAFI cars. Signs point to not so much no. Right then, depot for you there, Chief. Go on. Get a depot. This is the Sioux Falls bulk freight. And, oh, look at this for some variety. New tank wagon, new open wagon, a Verbans wagon. We're not going to use any of those. A couple more Great Westerns. And what do you know, a Great Western. And the Great Western McCaw B-Bogey bolster wagon. Quite a lot of stuff there that I'm very unlikely to use. But I appreciate the heck out of having it as part of my options package. Oh, you're further away than I'd perhaps given credit. Well, not to worry. We always enjoy riding over the Grand El Paso Bridge. Your wagons are looking a bit tired here as well, so this is possibly a good time to be retiring them and sticking something a little bit more modern and a little bit more ubiquitous into the proceedings there. El Paso's really coming on as well. I mean, you know, look at the scale of this. Let's have a look at town sizes since we're in the area. So El Paso is in fact the big dog. Just pipping Detroit to the post at the moment. But Detroit has got the shopping experience that no one can deny. Whereas Sioux Falls is all about the number of jobs, which is awesome. Let's have a quick spin and just have a look at the scale of Detroit while we're here. Now, 1,100 in terms of population isn't actually that big. So there is still an awful long way to go in terms of history. I think we'll probably, we have the capability, I suspect, based on the map size, to run to around, well, at least to 2,000 before performance starts becoming an issue. The question is whether I can maintain something entertaining as far as a visual feast is concerned up to that point. How are we doing? Oh, this looks promising. It looks like the out-of-town station here has actually got people waiting. Well, that's nice. Are you a real house? No, you're not. You're one that I've placed. This lot are all ones that I've placed as well. Come on, folks. You're so close. Just, come on. Get out here. There's land to be had right alongside the station. And if I had a wish list idea somewhere for a Transport Fever 3, the ability to zone where towns can and can't grow would certainly be on my to-do list. Because that way you can place a station somewhere that is that is going to be positive in the future. The other side of that, of course, is that it would also be good if towns would start to grow towards where you've got stops. So whether that's a bus stop or a train station or whatever, because that's how they worked, right? There's all of the great towns in the US particularly, and it's a good example to choose. All of the great cities grew up around where stations were built. And the stations were built there because there was already some kind of settlement. So it makes sense, from my perspective, to have stations act as a magnet for future population growth. Thank you very much. That's my manifesto. Be sure to vote failure in your upcoming election. Right then, let's flog off these tankers and these boxes. There we go. Well, that earned me a bit of cash, didn't it? And then let's give it some universals. There you go. Thank you, NAFI. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. Just keep going. 110, 121, 132. 132 ought to cut the mustard on that one, I would have thought. Yeah, good. Get back to work. You were Sioux Falls, if I recall correctly. Go on, off your trot. There you go. I've still got 2 million in the bank, and the month has just rolled over. This is a very good sign. I love lots of steam trains appearing on the screen at the same time, and this is quite a lot of steam trains appearing on the screen all at the same. This is a whole stack of steam trains appearing on the screen at the same time. You cannot possibly be disappointed with that level of performance. Well, if you are, you've come to the wrong place, because I'm not disappointed in the slightest. This is majestic stuff. What have you got there? Because it's all the same gubbins you've got on board. 110 food, heading to El Paso. That's nice. What have we got waiting? Some construction materials and some food waiting to go to El Paso. Beautiful. Well, I'm very pleased with this. And we've got some more stone going out. That looks like a full load. 55 to go out. Have we got any more in stock? Not at present, no. That's okay. That's okay, because what this is going to be doing more than anything else is the Detroit line, which is not that one. The Detroit line, negative, which has already left a little while ago. There it is, look. Detroit line. Should be, yeah, look at that. So that's a marked improvement in terms of profit last year. 1.35 million up from 309,000 loss. And that's the difference that running freight in both directions can make. And given that we've just rolled over the year, how did we do performance-wise? So we brought in an extra 2 million on the year before, which was up 7 from the year before that. Running costs, a slight increase in running cost, but fundamentally you're looking at a 15 million a year profit there. In fact, we made 5 million quid last year after buying 23 million worth of new vehicles. That's quite impressive. Now, I did sell 15 million in new vehicles, but even so, the money is looking positive, and that's a good thing. So let's now refer to the routes that we have been tinkering with. So we want the Euroloop Spinwood. There will be a better way to do this if we sort by name. Yeah, there you go. The alphabet. It's helpful. Euroloop Spinwood all of a sudden has got plenty of people on board. That's great. The Widdershins is not packing in so many. Now, this is still not turning a profit, which is a bit of a concern. But I would like to think that we've made the right step there towards some inevitable profitability. Now, an 11-year-old train shouldn't be causing us problems. You're going to Dortmund, you're going to Wolves, and you're down 98 for the year. You're up 18. Keep your fingers crossed. I think that one might turn a profit. The other one is the Barcelona Transatlantic, which is down 1 million. Now, last year it was down 2 million at this point, and it was carrying almost no passengers. It's got 62 on board now. That's going to work. Let's have a look at, and it is our main offender. The bit that bothers me now is the Orient Express, and I suspect it's because they are too bunched up. So let's call these up and see where we are. Now we're 72 capacity on each. As you can see, I suspect this is the front train, and then this will be the second one, and that'll be the third one. They are too close together. So we've got two that are heading to El Paso East right now. This one's heading out to Krakow. So I think the smart move, if we track along here, so we can forget that one for a minute. Oh, you've got a bit of a wait ahead of you. Well, that's an inconvenient moment. Let's repay some loan, just because I'm not using the cash right now. Might as well stick it in the bank. So yeah, the chances are I'm going to need to space these out a little bit. Now, given plenty of time, they'll space themselves out. I mean, firstly, the game wants to space them out anyway, but more than that, Just having to wait for signals or having to wait for a passing train or anything along those lines often leads to a situation where they space out a little bit more. I don't know where this one emerges. We're all underground and what have you. Where are you coming out there, fella? You got a plan? I mean, I built the line, and I mean, you know, presumably there's a scheme here. Oh, it's going to be just over this rise. Under the rise. Past the rise, it will reappear. So there we go. There's the second train. It's now got 58 coming out of El Paso, which is where we are heading toward. Yeah. So there we go. It's simply too close. It isn't giving enough time for passengers to build back up again. So I think once we get to the station, we'll hold it in the station for a few minutes, just to allow a little bit more spacing. I mean, here comes the other train now, look. Yeah, madness. No wonder it's not paying off. So with a bit of spacing, these should work out quite nicely, but I'm going to need to exercise some driver-based patience in order for this to happen. The other alternative, of course, would be to go on beyond El Paso East. But to be honest, I quite like the route as is at the moment. Alright, so let's see how many we actually pick up. And then we'll just issue it with a hold your horses moment. There we go, we'll stop you there. That's the smart play. So if we hold on, I mean, normally I would hold on and wait for the train that's the next along. I would wait for that to reach the next station. But in this case, I think I will wait for the passenger number to pick up before allowing this to continue with its journey. That seems like a, you know, it's almost like a well thought through idea. Sioux Falls, Brussels, of course, looking absolutely handy dandy gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to give this until it reaches, let's say 20. As soon as you've got 20 passengers waiting, you can go. Now then, I'm going to talk about what's coming up, because there is more to come up. I've spent most of this series so far focusing in the south area of the map, and I think that shows from the level of development that we've got going on and how well it's all growing down here. Where it's obviously neglected is the Grand Junction, Vancouver and Rill, because Grand Junction has got a terrific number of passengers making use of it. I mean, look at this stuff. Ridiculous. And then Vancouver, which is barely connected to anything at all. Again, loads of passengers waiting. So there is the very real need to develop this further, and it would be good to bring Wolverhampton in. Now, I had previously intended... Are we at 20? Nowhere near. Had previously intended to tunnel through here, and someone suggested in the comments that instead I should go over the top to make it scenic. Well, two things spring to mind. Firstly, that's not going to be easy. Secondly, that's really not going to be easy. We're going to have to swoop in like this, coming out of Rill, hang a turn here to kind of build up some altitude before crossing there. And we'll probably still need to make a minor gouge there before dropping the elevation back down again. As far as train routes go, it's not very efficient, chums. It's the opposite of being very efficient. It's pretty inefficient. But I'll consider it. It is on my big long list of things that might happen. How are we looking? Thank you, game. That's the Spinwood, and it's fully loaded, and financially, still not quite there. Come on, you can do it. And this is the new one as well. So hopefully this will pay off with a goodly amount of cash when it turns up in Wolverhampton. 17, almost ready to go. Actually, the spacing there must be starting to get pretty significant. We will see in but a moment's time. I'm really hoping this Spinwood actually has a bit of a payday here, you know. Kind of needs it. Right, we're not getting more passengers in. You can get back to work. There you go. Off you trot. Make me money, please. There we go. Here we go. Alright, let's bring up the window, see what we earn from this leg. There we are. And because it's a full load, so this should not be an insignificant amount of money, he says, with optimism. 98k. Well, okay. It's not brilliant, though, is it? Especially since you've only picked up 15 passengers. Ho-hum, there it is. Right, that will do for today. A bit of a bitty episode, but you need one once in a while in order to recoil your setup to get yourself refocused again. The good news is we are now printing money really rather respectably. And therefore, we have options open to us. So I think bringing down the remaining high-frequency lines, so the Widdershins there is up to 24 minutes this year, which is far from ideal, and it's not carrying anything like enough passengers. Meanwhile, Wolverhampton-Shanghai is running with nobody on board at the moment. Good. That's really going to help, isn't it? That's far from ideal. But everything else is looking pretty sound. Look at the balances. I've got no one who's burning 1 million. I've got 3 that are burning over 500,000. One of which is the commuter line that has a whole bunch of 30-year-old trains running on it. So we can get these in order in due course. Anyway, that'll be next time. Thanks very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. Let's go and find the little brick train here. There we go, and we're going to trust in following along will yield us a decidedly pleasing shot of many trains at the hub. While I say, have you thought about subscribing recently? It's a smart thing to do, and chances are you've all done it already, because the number of people who watch these videos week in, week out is lower than my subscriber number. I'll tell you what, as a special offer for you, if you are not currently subscribed but you have watched this far in the video, post a comment and let me know why you haven't subscribed. I'm only curious. I'm not going to mock, cajole, ridicule, or any other word that you may find offensive. But do let me know. I'm curious. I'm curious as to why you would watch all the way through and then not subscribe. Especially if this is not your first rodeo as far as a Colonel Failure transport video is concerned. Anyway, fling a like at this one if you enjoyed it, and stick around. There's a lot more of this series to come. I think Goods Hub 2 is surely not far away, as well as a few more passenger lines, and I look forward to setting them up. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you soon. Cheerio!